Hello and welcome to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today we're going to be taking a deeper dive looking at upgrades for the F7C-M Super Hornet. Really quick, I also want to touch base on the upgrades that you see on screen. They can all be found here if you go to the website that I'm on, the DPS calculator, which I will have a link in the area below here, as well as I'm going to put a link on screen just so you know where I'm at. It shows you where you can buy everything. So when you click on something and you change it, like if I was to go with the light fire, you see light fire, and then it would show you where it's at. So, and how much it cost. So this is very helpful when you're building your ship. Remember that. It's been a doozy on the servers today. I really honestly didn't even know if I was going to be getting a video online for today or tomorrow per se, because I always have them up the next day. So I reviewed the Super Hornet. I learned a lot from a lot of comments. Thank you. Anybody that watches my videos, I really appreciate you. You have to come to realize that my reviews are all just stock ships, and I felt like the Super Hornet, being what it is, just felt kind of underwhelming. But I mean, just looking at the stats here, the DPS isn't terrible at all. It's got great DPS. It just feels like I don't know. I can't use Gatling guns, ballistic Gatling guns, at size 3 or lower, really, because it's so limited with ammo. But I have had some luck with it. I did some, work with the Super Hornet today pretty much all day, trying to learn what weapons would work best on this thing. And there's quite a few different loadouts, honestly. It really just depends on the pilot. You could go with so many different things, and I'm going to run you through a few things. But first, I'm looking at this all stock. So this is everything stock here. Let's talk about this ship. You have 4,000 HP on the body, 4,000 on the nose, with a total of 22,460 HP. Okay, so first thing I look at on any ship to upgrade is obviously the power plant. With this one here, I found the best one to go with is the JS300. It's a military grade A with 3,681 power, but only a power request time of 10. And all these other stats don't really matter, they're all the same. So perfect. That one, I love it. Go with that one. It works for everything you need. There's really no reason to spend more or get any of the other ones when the JS300 does perfect. Now, the next thing, shields. Obviously, this goes without saying for most ships. And all ships, you're going to be looking at the FR-whatever, for whatever size ship you're in. And that's what I'm going to be doing here. It's just going to be both FR-66. They come with 1,725 HP per shield with a full charge in 10 seconds or 10.45 seconds. Now, these shields, when you take damage, it takes 5 seconds. There's a delay, 5 seconds of taking damage before it starts to regenerate, right? So you have to disengage combat for 5 seconds for that to do that. And if your shields get taken down completely, it takes 10 seconds without being hit again to regen shields. So they are excellent. They're obviously the top of the line. It's kind of a... that's the thing about the game right now, is there's really no, since it's in alpha, there's really no need to go through any of these other options on a lot of these things, because there's really not much to it, and the prices aren't terrible, and you can just get the top of the line stuff pretty quick. So, yeah. Now, when it comes to quantum drives, this is all preference, right? Because if you click on max speed and see what your max speed ones are, you could put something in here like this and really make this thing fast as all get up, but you're only going to be able to go so little of a distance. You'll have to end up jumping from station to station just to refuel before you can get anywhere. So I say the top 3 options would be the Atlas, the Voyage, and the Rush. Number 1, obviously the Atlas. You get a good max speed, but it doesn't take much QT fuel, and you get a much bigger max distance. The Rush is the least of the options, but it's easier to get a hold of. The Atlas can only be found in one spot, and that's Platinum Bay on Hurl L5. So if you're able to get out there, great, pick that up. It's an awesome drive. It'll get you where you need to go, all the way across the map. the system. So that is the Quantum drive. Now you don't need to worry about the coolers. There's really nothing to that yet. So now it's just about how you want to outfit your ship. This is all set. You're good to go here. You now have yourself an excellent fighter. And I'll eat my words on my review video, only in the sense that stock, I still believe it gets kind of a lower score. It's still between like a 5 and an 8 to me. But once you upgrade the heck out of this thing, oof, nasty. Real nasty. Probably one of the better fighters right now, just due to the way it, maneuvers. I've heard some things about taking other Hornets in the series and giving it the ball turret and stuff, because they're a little bit more maneuverable than this one, because this one's more chonky, right? So it's heavier. But, if you have the Super Hornet, this is how you'd want to upgrade it, right? And then moving into guns, I went through a couple different things today, and I will try to make sure I put these things on screen when I can, but let's get into it. I hate Gatling guns. I do. The only time I had them on is when I got rid of the gimbal, and I just went with the Mantis GT 220s. And you'd probably be asking why. You get less ammo, which you do. It's only like 20 or 30 rounds less. The DPS is a little bit better, right? And I did really excellent damage with it. I ran out of ammo before I could take out the Retaliator that I was attacking, but it felt beefy, right? It felt good. But once I ran out of ammo, I was like, oh, this is why I don't do these guns, because now I'm down 2 guns. now I'm only left with the other 4. And at the time I had another size 3 here, getting rid of the nose turret, so I was down to only 3 guns. It was a real big bummer. So personally, I just stay away from anything ballistic, even though they are great. I'm not a fan of ballistic at this low of a size. Honestly, you have better luck with keeping this size 3, but moving on to either a laser cannon, the FL-33 or the M5A, or the CF-337 Panther laser repeater. Now these would be great too. So if I were to go down here and get that on here, the sustained DPS doesn't seem that bad or that great, but it's not bad at all. It's a size 3 weapon instead of the size 2s that you would typically get there with the gimbal. But if you're more comfortable without the gimbal, you could definitely do that. I wouldn't change the ball turret or the nose turret. I did, and I honestly felt like I was kind of taking away damage. Because if you just went with a size 3 here, and let's just say you decided to go all laser repeaters, your sustained DPS is dropping significantly, right? You're at 643 DPS because you got rid of the Gatling guns, and now you're just looking at all laser repeaters, which all laser repeaters, nothing wrong with this at all. Like these laser repeaters, they're all got the same ammo speed, 1400, and we move over to the Badgers. They're also 1400, so they keep up with each other, right? They're going to do a lot of good damage, and this is probably the number 1 used loadout that I can find, is just doing an all laser repeater loadout. But I also found that there is a good loadout with running all cannons, laser cannons, either the FLs or the M5s. There's no difference between the two. I personally go with the M5s. I don't see why not, or the FLs. It doesn't really matter. Just pick out all FLs if you want, and you'll see a dramatic change in your DPS output. But you got to remember you have less in the capacitor, right? So let's say I did this, did that, Oh, and I want to get rid of this. I want to put this back to a nose turret and just put size 1 FLs in there. Your DPS is now 1097. Sustained burst is 2487. So if I were to go here and change this from this, and let's move this over here. There's not much of a difference. There really isn't. You could do that. I feel like, 16 rounds, 16 rounds, 16 rounds, and this is at your normal power priority. And then you have your FLs over here with 44 rounds. Why not just keep the nose turret on there? They did fix the nose turret from what I understand, and it has a bunch more health now, so you don't have to really worry about that getting knocked off so easy. But you got 36 rounds. So you're getting a lot more punch, right? With not much of a difference in damage. You actually have more damage. So keeping these size 1s on there and just going with the whole laser cannon loadout is pretty awesome too. Now, there was something that I did and it was kind of fun actually. I took the ball turret and I made them distortions. So I went and I put DR model XJ2s on there and just kept them distortions. And I changed all these to laser repeaters, and I got into a fight with a Cutlass Black. About halfway through the fight, you could see all his systems shut down. He just started floating in one direction, not shooting back, not nothing. And I was just like, all right, easy prey. Let's finish this guy off. Done. Boom. Gone. That was kind of fun, and I might actually go back to that. The only thing you got to worry about, and you just got to make sure you put the distortion repeaters on the right, like fire group, is that their ammo speed could be different from what you have normally. So like with the FL33s, I think are they the same? No, they're 700 meters a second. So you would want to make sure that you're firing the distortion repeaters separately, right? So you aren't messing up your aiming. But yeah, that goes to saying with any of these weapons, make sure that whenever you are building your loadout to what you feel most comfortable with, always keep an eye on your ammo speed down here. Because if you get something that's shooting at 700 on one gun, another thing that's shooting at 1400 on another gun, and then, let's say you have 3 weapons on a ship, and they're all 3 shooting at something different, you're going to be all over the place. There's going to be rounds lagging behind while the other rounds are hitting, and that's just terrible, right? So yeah, it's a fantastic ship. It is much better upgraded, absolutely. I got into a couple fights with this ship yesterday stock, and I felt like I was constantly having to either eject or back out of the fight because I was no shields within seconds, and I was getting hit and losing parts left and right, and it just was terrible. But today, with whatever fights I have gotten into, much better with the upgrades. So thank you everybody that's commented on my videos in regards to that. That's pretty much it with this upgrades video for right now. I do want to look into this type of section for videos or for ships more, and kind of see what I can do in helping the community find what upgrades best fits the ship they enjoy. So let me know down in the comments what you think of this ship and what type of loadout you run. I would really love to hear what type of weapons you're running with this ship. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.